Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing channel. PRL Formula 3 action about to get started. We do want to apologize. We are experiencing some technical issues, but we are working on bringing you live pictures as soon as possible. For now, though, we will go through the grid here for the Formula 3 series. 31 laps at Road Atlanta, getting ready to start. Sebastian Coffret starts on pole. Michael Coffret alongside him. Raymond Day puts it in third alongside Michael Diaz. A fantastic lap there. Alex Fournier and Moises Caraballo in fifth and sixth, with Justin Negrete and Robert Ridgway on the fourth row. It's going to be Laurent Christophe Deruel and Michael Overbay rounding out the top 10, Michael.
And looking at P11, that's our first amateur with Ho Yin Lung. We have Rodriguez in 12th, Robert Coffret in 13th. Then Stephen Ritters. We get to our next AM, which is Gunderson with Almanar right behind him. Then Mr. Sneaky in the pro class. He's right back there in P17. Watch for him to make some moves in this race. Behind him, Vargas with Doucette. And then Heffernan is going to bring out our top 20.
It's a nice round 30 car grid here at Road Atlanta. Nick Karangis starts alongside Brian Lowe, with Brad Miller and Michael Blaze 23rd and 24th, with Richard Swindells and James Carter 25th and 26th. Tyler Gore and Andres Echevarria on the 14th row, and 15th row is going to be Matt Dinsmore and Barry Cochrane. It's going to be an interesting race here as we get ready to go here at Road Atlanta for 31 laps. It's all going to be about that standing start, and given there's so many cars here, the downhill run to the final turn could be an advantage for drivers starting further back in the field. They are going to have to be careful on the way into turn 1 and into turn 3 as well. Lap 1 can be chaotic here at Road Atlanta with those huge curbs, no tarmac runoffs lining the circuit, and certainly a huge amount of lack of side-by-side. I should probably say that was a bit of an about-face in terms of English language suitability, but we're getting ready now for this start. 2-minute gridding time. The revs are rising, and we're going to get ready to go here at Road Atlanta. Sebastian Coffret leads them away, and the green flag flies. Not the best of starts from Raymond Day, though. He is going to potentially face a challenge from the outside. Alex Fournier and Michael Diaz into turn 1. It's a clean start, but, just as I say that, banging wheels and into the gravel for one car, and I think that's going to be Michael Overbay. That is huge there. Overbay was right in contention for third place in the championship, and it looks like he might miss out on that now. Bit of a mistake for Michael Coffret in second place. He's opened himself up to an attack from Diaz, who is having a fantastic lap 1, Michael.
Indeed, he is. Diaz making a nice job, making a nice run, trying to catch up there. Only about 0.2 less than as we work our way down the back hill, the hill on the backside of the racetrack here. Is he going to be able to catch up to him? It's going to be tight. He's got position on the right side as we work our way down into turn 10, into the braking zone. Heavy into the brakes goes our leader, Sebastian Coffret. Michael Coffret still holding on a second, but only by less than 1/10 of a second. Coffret still holds on as they go through turn 10. Diaz comes back around fighting for it. They are side by side going through the final corner. Raymond Day right in the mix too. Looks like Diaz is going to take it when they get to the finish line, finishing out lap 1.
A little bit of contact as well between Coffret and Diaz on the start-finish straight. They banged wheels a little, but it looks like they've held on to it. Raymond Day definitely showing that he has what it takes to run up the front here. He's holding off now Moises Caraballo for 4th place. Alex Fournier has moved back a little bit. He's lost 1 place from where he started, but looks like the majority of the field have sorted themselves out. But there's a problem for Sebastian Coffret. He has spun off the circuit, and it looks like heavy damage. He is towed back to the pits, and that happened down at turn 5, Michael. A big mistake there.
Yeah, it's very similar, I think, to last week. It was one of the two Coffrets that was really doing a great job leading the race, but a couple of laps in, something happened and ended up falling way behind. But that puts Michael Diaz up front into the lead. but not for long, as the other Cofre, Michael Cofre, comes around him, gets side by side going up into turn 10, is not able to make the pass. Looks like Diaz is going to hold on to this as they go under the bridge around that final corner, putting the power down. They are going to go too wide through the final corner. Diaz taking every bit of track that he can. Raymond Day working his way up in the inside, looking for that P2 around the outside at turn 1. Oh, this is exciting racing.
What a time to come back to live pictures. Fantastic stuff. That's incredible. Brilliant racing up at the front of the field. It is a top 5 battle here on track. Simply magnificent. And you know what? One thing that we have found here in the first couple of laps is that the draft is incredibly strong down that back stretch. Raymond Day is able to keep himself in that fight for the top 3, almost making it 3 wide into turn 10.
It was almost 3 wide into turn 1 also, watching those guys try to work their way through there. That was crazy. He was close enough that he could have made a run for it. I think, though, he's testing. He's just dipping his toe in the water. Where can I make some time on these guys? But he needs to make sure he puts more than just a toe in there, because right behind him, Moises Caraballo is trying to close this up under a quarter of a second, right about 2/10. He is making something out of this.
Oh, the fight still goes on here between Diaz and Michael Cofre. Diaz is going to have to try around the outside into turn 1. Cofre is defensive. Cofre sets the fastest lap. No, it's Laurent Christophe Deruel further back in the field. Have a look at Raymond Day. He is really taking advantage of this. He's been able to keep Moises Caraballo behind, and my goodness, if Cofre and Diaz keep battling like they are, Raymond Day could be looking at a potential win here at Road Atlanta, which is something we haven't seen him near for a while. Meanwhile, looks like the top 4, they have broken away from the 2 advanced sim racing esports cars of Alex Fournier and Laurent Christophe Deruel, but Deruel is really making up time here. Now we're back onto the back stretch once again, and the weave is already on, trying to break the draft here. Man, Michael Cofre, he is under an attack ×3. He's got the 2 Precision Racing esports cars and the number 77 of Raymond Day lining him up here. Day in the slipstream. Diaz goes to the outside, but cannot get it done through 10A and 10B. He's going to have to wait for another opportunity here. Day manages to pick up the throttle nicely out of 10A and 10B. But he can't take advantages. Trying up the inside of the final corner there was Moises Caraballo, just backed out in time. And have a look behind. That's a huge dart to the inside there for Ho Yin Lung, who's looking for a move here on Robert Ridgway.
Yeah, making a move on Robert Ridgway, that's going to be interesting. Lung is in the amateur class. He is your current leader of the AM class. Making a move on Robert Ridgway. I got to say, that means he's got some speed behind him. If he's able to get that close and challenge Ridgway, he may get promoted a class here anytime.
Definitely potential for that. It looks like Ridgway's managed to hold him off for the time being. That battling up the front is still as close as it's ever been. Deruel has fallen off the back of Alex Fournier a little, as there's a big incident further back in the field, and that's Manuel Vargas and Andres Echevarria that have been involved in a smash out of turn 5. We'll check it out on the replay, see what happened, focusing on the number 52 of Manuel Vargas coming into turn 5. It's so easy to get the rear end loose there, and he spins back onto the racetrack and collects Echevarria.
Yeah, it looked like he tried to do the right thing and hold on to his brake pedal, but at that point he kind of had an option and didn't really think about it. He was probably just hoping that it was going to work out for him. But back at the front of the field, this is Cofre, Diaz, Day, and Caraballo. You need a C or a D name to be up here right now, because look at these guys go. Right behind them, you've got Fournier. Fournier is still within striking distance. He's not that far off of these guys. But this 4-pack right here is really trying to be the class of the field.
This is fantastic racing that we've seen so far. We're only on lap 6 of 31. What are the remaining laps going to bring? Nice exit there for Caraballo, who we ride on board with as he tries to catch up to Raymond Day in the slipstream. But Day has got slipstream from Diaz and Cofre up ahead. Cofre has managed to break away a little bit now in these slower sections. Caraballo now lining up the move. Day tries going defensive and they bang wheels coming into the braking zone. Day's going to give Caraballo room here, and round the outside of 10B goes Moises, and he is now up into third place. He can start helping his teammate to try and get this lead back, and that's worked out well for Alex Fournier as well. The time lost there for Raymond Day, now putting him right into the slipstream. Michael Cofre, though, out in front by half a second, setting the fastest lap.
Yeah, Michael Diaz wants to be back out up there. Michael Cofre going, nope, this is my time to lead. You got to lead a couple of laps. It's my turn now. So Diaz, though, he is still about 8/10 off. That is really opening up as they went through the S's there. Look at that gap. So this may be a little bit of defensive driving on the part of Michael Diaz, trying to keep Caraballo behind him. But at this point, he just needs to focus forward and look at what's going on up ahead of him to get back up there.
That was a big leap forward I saw there for Alex Fournier to try and bring himself into this fight. It looks like Diaz has broken away from Caraballo as well. The gap now at about a second to the lead, and another second or so back to third. The battle is now for fourth on back, as who's that trying to go on Diruel? It's Robert Ridgway, who's broken away from Justin Negrete and Ho Yin Lung, not able to get the move done in 10A and 10B, but Ridgway is really showing that he has what it takes to potentially fight for a top 5 here. He's going to get up the inside of Diruel coming into the first corner. And oh, there we go, up the inside. Can Diruel get back at him coming into turn 3? Yes, he can. A bit later on the brakes and on the racing line. And oh my goodness, can Ridgway even stay on the track there? Looks like he's lost a ton of time as a result of that.
Yeah, he did lose a bit of time, but don't put it beyond Robert Ridgway to let that sleeping dog lie. He will catch back up. He is the kind of racer who, even though he lost some time, he's going to put his nose to the grindstone, put his head down, and close that gap back up.
Well, closest battle on track now is for third. Caraballo holding off Day and Fournier. Have a look at this trio as they make their way down the straight, and as they build up the speed, Day shows that the slipstream is so strong here at Road Atlanta. Can he get up the inside, be brave on the brakes coming into 10A and 10B? Not quite widening the turn as much as he could. It does allow Caraballo to keep the position, but a big helping of oversteer on the exit as this is the view from Laurent Christophe Diruel. He doesn't have a front row seat to that battle, but have a look at Raymond Day still trying to get around. Moises Caraballo has to back off coming into the first turn. Can he pick up the throttle and get it done into turn 3? The door is left open a little on the inside, but the way the track goes up the hill there, just not able to get it done. And Fournier may be a little distracted, missed the apex of turn 3, and is going to allow Caraballo and Day to continue to fight. Through turn 5, can they keep the rear end under them? Yes, they can.
Yeah, I think he may have lost because he was trying to eat the popcorn and have a little sip of his soda there as he was watching the movie in front of him. Oh, and we've got an off. That's going to be Negrete is off.
It looks like Takeshi Kita was involved in that as well, and that's through turn 5. Stephen Ritters and Matt Dinsmore also with problems, so we'll keep an eye here on Justin Negrete, who was already down quite a bit in terms of position. Was it the rear end coming loose into turn 5? Yep, it was, and oh, that's a bad place to spin right on the exit. Oh, gets collected by Mr. Sneaky, who loses his rear end. What happened to Dinsmore meanwhile? Wow, that's odd. Looked like a big helping of oversteer on the exit of turn 4.
Wow, a lot of activity going on here. That's tough. And we've seen that exact issue twice now on turn 5. I think we may be working with some people who have the same setup, possibly, because they may be working together on similar teams and find they did the same thing or use the exact same setup. And that coming out of 5, I can tell you, if you get the car too low, it's gonna mess it up out there, and that's gonna put Raymond Day back into, I believe that's gonna put him in 5th position now.
Yeah, Alex Fournier moves up into 4th. Goodness gracious. Raymond Day, I think the only driver so far who's had a slide in turn 5 and has managed to recover it. That's very important. He'll still be able to fight forward in this top 5 battle. And he's not facing much pressure from behind. Can he get back past Fournier? Coming into 10A and 10B is the big question. He does pull out to try and make the move, gets alongside into the braking zone, and Fournier, I think, just yielding there because he knows that what he needs to do at this stage of the championship is just stay on track. He's had a string of poor results that have resulted from mistakes, and he needs to focus on getting as many points as possible. Part of that is just keeping out of trouble.
Yeah, it's staying out of trouble and being consistent as you're finishing. So we got Michael Blaze back there doing donuts. It's not donut time yet. I mean, we do teach police here sometimes, but they don't come for those kind of donuts sometimes.
Well, let's take a look at what happened to him. Coming down into 10A and 10B, I think it might just be a case of catching the grass on the exit. Michael Blaze running a little bit deep into the chicane, picks up the throttle, and the rear end just spins up, and there was nothing he could do to recover from that point on. Fortunately, manages to stay offline, and no one else is involved as it's on for the lead here. Michael Diaz and Michael Coffray side by side on the way into 10A and 10B, and Diaz is caught back up to Coffray, can do it around the outside potentially. Coffray goes a bit deeper, protects the lead.
Coffray holding on to that lead right there at the top. This is pretty crazy with these two going back and forth. That had opened up to about a second, but now it has closed back down to, well, right now we're at 0.4, but it's really it's going back and forth so much it's hard to keep track of who's in the lead at any given point. Both of these drivers going at it absolutely crazy.
This race has been absolutely insane so far. We're not even halfway through, and it feels like we've been through 2 races worth of action at Road Atlanta. Coffray still in the lead coming into turn 6 and turn 7, and the exit here is so important. You have to make sure that you get on the throttle properly. Looked like a slight bit of oversteer there for Coffray. Could open him up to an attack from Diaz, and there's plenty of space behind to take advantage of the draft. This is between the 2 Michaels at the front of the field. And of course, Diaz being the championship leader, he wants to try and get the best result possible, but he's also got to be mindful not to push too hard and make a mistake.
Closing up nicely under braking there. He's right at about 0.2 of a second. We might see a move going into turn 1. Probably not here through turn 11. That's not the place to watch it happen, but he's going to go wide. He's going to hold out to the left side. Coffray is going defensive as they work their way into turn 1, holds the position, and it looks like Diaz backs out to fight another day.
Just for now. Slightly missing the apex of turn 3, but that's okay. You'll be able to get back online, and as long as he stays within a second, he'll be able to pick up the draft down the straight and get himself potentially back into the lead. Coffray, though, it seems is nice and comfy in the lead at the moment and has no trouble in defending it. So things have calmed down just a little bit here at the front. A little bit of a lapped car there.
Yep, that's correct. Just getting over to the right side to help these guys out a little bit. But yeah, he was going to give him the pass and let him go through. Looks like he's holding off to that left side, letting them get around through that turn 9. The leaders go down into turn 10 into the braking zone. It looks like he's going to let all 3 of our podium positions go by and get back into the race. That's Nicholas Carangis for you.
Yep, doing the right thing there, staying out of the way of the leaders. He'd just come through the pits, did Carangis. Actually, he's come into the pits again, so I think there's some problems going on there for Nicholas Carangis. Not too sure what's gone on for him there, but it has not been a good race for Carangis so far. The lead is still on, though. Right on the diffuser of Michael Coffray is Michael Diaz, and they use all of that curb on the exit of turn 5. Looked like Coffray got a slightly better exit there, but if Diaz gets a good exit out of turn 7, he'll be able to pick up the slipstream, potentially go for a move into 10A and 10B. But One thing I have noticed about 10A and 10B over the years, Michael, is if you're on the outside coming into that chicane, it's not the worst place to be.
It's not. You can find an advantage from either the inside or the outside. Either place can work out for you. It really depends on where your positioning is right here. That spot right there. If you've got your nose a little bit ahead and you're on the inside, you can make it through here, but you've really got to be careful to hold on to that lead as you go through the final corner here to get to the start finish line. We have seen some crazy finishes. I have seen in real life a 4-wide finish with 8 cars. So 2 rows of 4 wide going through there.
Goodness gracious. Wow. I hope that we can find some footage of that race on YouTube. I would definitely like to take a look at that, but this lead has calmed down just a little bit once again. Looks like Diaz might be playing the long game here, might be looking at getting an advantage during the pit cycle at this stage.
Yeah, Kofre has opened up about 5 or 6 tenths. Looks like under braking, Diaz has a little better left foot on that brake pedal, but coming off the corner, he's doing okay. It helps that he has a draft here. He's close enough to be in the draft, but I don't think he wants to press this issue too much. But he needs to watch in his mirror. His teammate is back there. Carballo is ready to come up and help. So if Kofre is trying to push him back into the car behind him, he needs to realize that's his teammate.
Yeah, does need to realize that. Both Carballo and Diaz have taken wins so far this season, but Diaz has been the more consistent of the two and setting the fastest lap on his way through. 13.3 now, and that's 2 tenths faster than what Michael Kofre ran on the previous lap. Meanwhile, back in the field, it looks like Ho Yin Lung coming in for a pit stop, and I also want to highlight that Michael Overbay, who we saw out in turn 1 on lap 1, is now back out onto the circuit looking to get as many points as he possibly can here.
Yeah, and I'd like to take a moment if we can, go take a look back at our AM race. There's kind of a lonely field out there, but if we look back towards the middle of it, there right now with James Carter, he's trying to close up with, so we've got Ho Yin Lung coming back out of the pits, Michael Blaze right there, trying to make a little something out of this. The AM race is starting to heat up just as much as the front end of this pro race is. So both of these folks out here, we've got James Carter right here from Atomic Racing Electron. He is, man, is he putting down some laps. He is so concentrated. Look at him right there. He's got such concentration in his eyes. And of course, one of those snazzy GSRC t-shirts.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, James Carter, for that. And he's certainly going to need that pedestal fan going because Road Atlanta is a very high-intensity circuit. Well, Brian Lowe in a lonely lead in the AM class at the moment, but it's anything but lonely for the pro and overall lead of the race. Diaz, once again, catching back up to Michael Kofre, was just 100th faster than him on the previous lap. But this lead battle is going to continue for the entire race, I would presume. These two just a cut above everyone else. And Carballo trying desperately to catch back up to these guys and help his teammate out. But the lack of a slipstream is really hurting him.
Yeah, and he is right on the edge of that. He's at 1.7 seconds. If he's going to get anything, it's going to be maybe half a mile per hour as they work their way down this straight. But you have to remember, Diaz and Kofre, they are kind of working together, not intentionally, but working together to pull away from him. But Carballo is still holding on to that 1.7 second gap.
Only just. And as the lap times come across, it's going to be fastest car on track for Moises Carballo. Excellent stuff there. He was quite consistent with the pace of the top two on that lap, desperately trying to work his way forward. Now, when do these guys decide to come into the pits? There's a 50% fuel tank restriction in the Formula 3s that once again does force a pit stop, and you're likely to take tires as well when you're in the pit lane. These guys have been going pretty long, but we see more drivers from the AM class coming in. Greg Doucette coming in from, I believe it was P2 or P3 in the AM class. And it looks like he's joined by Michael Blaise and Ho Yin Lung, who's coming in for a second stop.
And Ho Yin Lung might not be in for a stop. He may be in for a drive-through. He just had an incident with James Carter. So if we have that up on the GSR replay machine, we may be able to take a look at that. But as they were going through, it looked like a little bit of contact as I was watching those guys go through. Here we go, the replay machine coming up, going through here, coming out of turn 5, working their way up into turn 6, gets the nose around up to the inside. Bam! Just hit from behind, and then insult to injury, one more tag on the side. Not much could happen there. That's just physics, the way it works. The car is only going to do so much. Let's watch them on board as they come out of turn 5. Once again, you're going to see a little juke to the right from the trailing car, or the car just in front of us, gets up the inside, has to overbrake a little bit because he can't get down to the apex, and unfortunately that caused the trailing car of Ho Yin Lung to tag him from behind.
Big shame there for Ho Yin Lung, as Brian Lowe is now in for his first stop, pitted from the lead of the AM class and took tyres, so that promotes Tyler Gore into the lead of the AM class. Brian Lowe, though, will retake the overall lead from Matthew Gunderson. It's looking like a reasonably warm track out there, 28 degrees Celsius, not as warm as we've seen in the past, so there's plenty of pace out there on the Road Atlanta circuit. Kofre still holding on here versus Diaz.
Yeah, Kofre and Diaz just kind of sitting in, as it looks like we have Kofre going into the pits. He's going to make his fuel stop here, and I would expect to see Diaz probably answer on the next lap, but for him, it is hammer time right now. But right now, the leader, I want to go back and say the leader of our AM class is currently Richard Swindells. Looks like Tyler Gore is about a second behind him, trying to close up that gap. Neither one of them have gone through the pits yet, and Tyler Gore really closing this up in that in that green machine. But let's take a look. That's a very long stop for Michael Kofre. I wonder if he's got some damage. Is it possible he's got damage?
Yeah, potentially, because I remember in the opening laps he did have some front wing contact with Michael Diaz coming down the front stretch, so he might be getting that wing repaired. But no, it is a black flag for Michael Kofre. I think he sped on pit lane entry.
Ooh, that's a big thing. And, you know, it's one of those things when people say, oh, you're a professional race car driver, I bet you speed a lot. Nope, I do not. If you knew what it cost us to speed, you would realize, well, I would say we don't speed. Most of us don't. Many of us don't speed. And that looks like Diaz is going to be headed down into the pit lane. Hopefully he does not get his own speeding ticket. In professional racing, that speeding there, if you get caught speeding in the pit lane, it costs you not only time, but if you're a habitual speeder, it costs you thousands of dollars for speeding in the pit lane. So we are very conscious about how fast we are going. And personally, I'm the guy who uses the cruise control everywhere. I do not speed.
Yep, it's the main thing to do. The road is not a racetrack, and neither is the pit lane, as Diaz emerges from the pits, and that was a nice stop for him, 4.7 seconds, 4.5 for his teammate Moises Caraballo. Getting news of a black flag for the 116 of Alex Fournier, who had worked his way up into third, but it seems that he sped on the pit entry as well.
Yeah, this is a very easy pit lane to speed in. It's a 45 mile per hour speed limit on the pit lane, if I recall correctly. And when you come around that right hand, you're downhill. You've got a lot of momentum behind you. And in these race cars, you can make that turn at 48, 50 miles an hour. So you still have some slowing down to do when you come around that final right-hander to get where the pit cones are.
Here's Brian Lowe and Matthew Gunderson battling for the AM lead, and it looks like Lowe was a little bit slow out of turn 5, and it seems that Gunderson trying to line him up here for a move into 10A and 10B. Looks like Gunderson does have some really good pace here. See if he can hold on in the slipstream. Get behind him, mate, and get the advantage. Well, coming down the back stretch here. Doesn't look like the slipstream is that powerful for Mr. Gunderson. Might be running slightly higher wing setting here to take advantage of those tight and twisting turns in the opening section of the racetrack. Looks like Lowe is definitely continuing to stake his claim here for the AM win tonight, as we're hearing news of a pass made for third in Pro, or fourth, Raymond Day and Robert Ridgway. Oh my God! Oh, whoa, 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 whoa! Hang on just a moment. Goodness gracious!
There's a lot to unpack right there. We may need to see that in slow motion. I don't know that I could follow everything that happened at that point. Let's go to the GSRC replay. That's going to be, is that Ridgway? I think
That's
that looks
Carter.
like that's Carter. Carter gets bumped again. He got bumped earlier, as we watched him. That's coming out of turn 5. And then we've got, very tight. We've got some very tight racing going on here. Carter off to the left side, and watch this. Oh, that looks like we had some a little bit of netcode. I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, oh man, that's such a shame for James Carter, in exactly the same spot that he was hit off before as well. That is just real hard luck there for James Carter. So it looks like Michael Blaze and Brad Miller were also involved in that one. 3 wide, plus lap traffic, plus netcode. That is what's going to happen. Well, up front, Michael Diaz under no pressure whatsoever for the race lead. It is a 1-2 for the Precision Racing Esports cars. They are not acting as a team in this championship. And oh dear, that's a little bit of a problem there coming out of turn 7 for Barry Cochrane in the 711, but he manages to stay out of the way.
Yeah, able to stay out of the way. We watch our 2 leaders working it right here. This is P1 and P2. Diaz and Caraballo. Raymond Day trying to close this up behind, but he's still about 5.5 seconds behind Caraballo, so he's got a bit to close up. However, right on his tail, I mean, closing tight and quick, is Robert Ridgway. So if we can take a look at Raymond Day and Ridgway right now, these guys have a very tight run going as they come through the final corner. Day trying to hold a little bit defensive, Ridgway making a little bit of a juke to the inside, trying to get Day to fall off of his line a little bit. But Raymond Day doing a beautiful job today. He is really sitting at the front of the field like he owns it.
Indeed. This is fantastic racing for the last position on the podium. And slightly compromised exit there for Raymond Day, but also for Robert Ridgway too. So they stay even coming into turn 6 here. The NinjaTrader Esports car of Raymond Day looking for a good exit here out of turn 7. Ridgway a little bit closer to the apex curb though, gained a bit of time there. This could be a move coming into 10A and 10B.
Yeah, and it looks like Day has Cochran in front of him. That is one of the AM drivers. He's able to get a little bit of a draft off of him, but it's not enough. He's going to have to go defensive down the inside, holding onto that inside line as Ridgway tries to make it around. He's got his nose in front in 10A. 10B, it looks like Day is going to try to make a run back through under the bridge. Is he going to be able to hold on to this? Coming through the final corner, Day is still in the lead of this little pack.
Fantastic racing between these two. They're giving each other a good amount of room, but they are racing hard, racing fair as well. No moves to be made into turn 3 here. It's the potential to be compromised here by Barry Cochrane. Raymond Day's going to have to back off a little bit. It's hard to pass here in this section of the track, and he does back off a bit. That does bring, Robert Ridgway onto the diffuser, but a little bit of oversteer into turn 5 means that he loses more time. Cochrane isn't going to be obliged to let him go just yet, but man, what a move that was. What a run through turn 5 on board here with Ridgway. We see that Day backs off a little bit in the wake of Cochrane, and man, that was a good recovery there from Ridgway.
Yeah, both drivers very good heads-up driving. Ridgway trying to make something out of it, but looked like Cochrane just wasn't going through it quite as quick as he wanted.
Well, finally, Robert Ridgway makes his way past Barry Cochrane, and the battle can resume, but he's lost a lot of time to Raymond Day, so there isn't going to be much in the way of slipstream there unless Day makes a mistake. Meanwhile, Michael Coffray recovering from the penalty for speeding into the pits. And he's working his way back up here, trying to round up Greg Doucette, who is running third in the AM class. We're going to get another replay as potentially an off here for Michael Coffray coming through turn 6. Oh, yes. Well, good save, though.
Wow. You know, so there is a drift show that happens at this racetrack, and they do almost...
We apologize once again for the technical issues here. It looks to me like this is going to be one heck of a race between the Precision Racing Esports teammates. It's going to be quite the interesting run here for the likes of Michael Diaz and Moises Caraballo. I'll tell you what, though, there's plenty that can be said about the consistency of Diaz, and I think that Caraballo might just back off here and allow his teammate to take the win. He knows that Diaz is in the championship lead, and he knows that he needs as many points as possible.
Yeah, and we've talked to both of these drivers before, and Moises has said that Diaz is in the lead. He's the guy out front, and he's going to do what he can to help him. It might be nice to have a win, but honestly, I think he's going to do the right thing as a teammate and let his teammate work his way, or keep his way up in the front of the race here.
Okay, well, last couple of laps then. Lap 28 of 31. And looking through the field, looks like many of the battles have calmed down. But I get the feeling that Robert Ridgway, he's trying his best here to work his way back up to Raymond Day. But having to negotiate lap traffic, it is so incredibly hard around here.
Indeed it is, but Ridgway is very good with traffic. We've seen him over several seasons, and we know what he's capable of. But this is going to be difficult. Raymond Day is honestly putting on quite a race today. He has been up front. He's been sitting in these podium positions. He is just amazing today, and I think Robert Ridgway is kind of playing catch up at this point. It's going to be a challenge for him to get all the way up here.
Indeed it is. Well, 3 laps to go. It is going to be a huge challenge for Robert Ridgway. And does look like he's managing to catch up to Raymond Day here with Brad Miller now, a lapped car that has to be contended with, and that's going to be probably some time lost there for Raymond Day. Just a few tenths, but it is bringing Robert Ridgway back into contention for the podium.
Yep, and he is trying to get up there. This is good. This is so good. Quite a race today, though, folks. Man, there's been so much going on all through the field. It's been absolutely nuts. But as we watch these guys here, this is Michael Coffray pulling the fastest lap of the race so far with a 1:13.136. We are close to qualifying times here. Man, these guys are really burning up the track.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes you wonder what the lead battle would be like if Michael Coffray had not gotten that penalty. It probably would have been a much harder race between those three. But riding on board here with Robert Ridgway as he tries to chase down Raymond Day. This is a fantastic race that it's been here in the PRL Formula 3 Series, really setting things up for the final round of the season at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. So, lap 30. This is where the money is made. You've got to try and stay consistent. You've got to keep yourself... Oh, dear. Just as I say that, that is a problem there. I think that's Richard Swindells in the number 16. Swindells was running pretty well in the AM class, 13th overall, but it looks like he's going to fall to 5th as a result of that. Might be carrying a bit of damage too.
Yeah, he was trying to make a run towards Doucette and Gunderson, but I think he was either in 4th or 5th when that happened, or third, 4th or 5th around that area when it happened. Just unfortunate. We know he's a good driver. We've seen him in the GT4 series on Tuesday nights right here on GSRC. Fantastic driver. He just pulls away from the field in that GT4 class, but he's not having quite the luck here in the F3 field. It's a tough field to contend with. with. And even in the AM class, these guys are amazing drivers.
White flag then for the Precision Racing Esports cars 1 and 2 at the front of the field, where they have been a few times before. This has been a fantastic job from Michael Diaz to keep the consistency, keep it safe, but also be fast on the way through as well. And he'll certainly be happy with how things have gone for him. It's setting himself up, he's setting himself up really nicely to take the championship victory in Montreal in a week's time. But there's still plenty that can happen in PRL F3, as we've seen this whole season. You never know what a race result is going to be until the drivers cross the line on the final lap. Such a fun and chaotic series to broadcast, and it's certainly been fantastic to have it here on the Global Sim Racing channel. But now just a couple more corners to go for the blue and grey cars up at the front of the field. Michael Diaz showing a fantastic performance here tonight. He battled hard with Michael Coffray at the start and was able to stake his claim. And it's going to be a photo finish here for the Precision Racing Esports machines 1 and 2 for Michael Diaz and Moises Caraballo. It looks like Raymond Day is still going to hold off Robert Ridgway for the third place on track, but Brian Lowe coming home for victory in the AM class could face up a change for position here with Alex Fournier behind him. Nonetheless, I think that Brian should be very happy with this.
Yeah, that's a P7 overall for Brian Lowe, first place in the AM class. Even if Fournier does pass him, it won't matter because, well, that is an out-of-class pass. But Fournier also having a very nice drive today, a little bit of trouble in some of the earlier part of the race, but finished beautifully.
Yeah, it's going to be P8 for Alex Fournier. Looks like Matt Gunderson has come home second in the AM class, which is excellent to see. And wow, there were an awful lot of retirements from that one, but nonetheless, still an incredibly exciting race. These two up the front, though, showing their supremacy in the late season, and Michael Diaz will certainly be happy with how things have gone here today at Road Atlanta. Let's take a look then towards a break here on the Global Sim Racing channel. We'll be right back, and when we come back, it'll be our official race results and interviews with our podiums.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Well, another frantic race in the PRL Formula 3 series at Road Atlanta, but it was won by Michael Diaz in a photo finish with Moises Caraballo. Third place, Raymond Day. A fantastic performance there from the number 77. Robert Ridgway comes home in fourth, with Laurent Christophe Deruel rounding out the top five. Fernando Rodriguez in sixth. The AM class win goes to Brian Lowe. A fantastic drive from him. Alex Fournier coming home just behind, with Matt Gunderson and Michael Coffray rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, tough for Michael Coffray there, but a nice recovery drive after leading for a bit. Greg Doucette comes in 11th. Tyler Gore in 12th. Richard Swindell's a last-minute spin on the penultimate lap there puts him into 13th. Nicholas Carangis in 14th. Almanar, Lung, Echevarria, Cochran, Miller, and Carter. James Carter having really bad luck at turn 6 there. I think turn 6 is going to be his least favorite corner for a long time.
Yeah, I think so, definitely. Well, 21st was Takeshi Kita, and this is one in a long list of retirements here at Road Atlanta. A big crash for Mr. Sneaky. Dinsmore just behind, with Michael Overbay making it back out onto the circuit after being taken out at turn 1. He's going to come home in 23rd, still pick up a few points there. Michael Blaise with a retirement, as well as Stephen Ridders, Justin Negrete, Manuel Vargas, Roberto Coffray, Sebastian Coffray, who was our pole sitter, and Colin Heffernan in the AM class. Oh boy, now we can have a chat to our race winner, Michael Diaz. It's once again a victory here for the number 30, Michael. Thanks for joining us, and well, I think that couldn't have gone better for you.
Hey guys, how's it going? Yeah, man, it was pretty smooth sailing there towards the end. My team and Moises Caraballo was there helping me out. Yeah, it was pretty good today.
How did the car handle Road Atlanta? Because this is a track where you've really got to attack the curbs if you want to be fast, but that's kind of at odds with how stiff the suspension on these F3 cars is.
Exiting the S's towards the bottom, it was really sketchy. The whole race, I was just taking care of not to lose it there, laid on the throttle. But other than that, it was pretty smooth, well, at least for my setup. I had a lot of downforce. I was slow in the straights, but I think the extra grip helped me out today.
Well, we go to another Formula One circuit for the final round in a week's time at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. What are your thoughts on that place? Certainly a track that is suited to single-seaters.
It's a wonderful track, but I am terrible at it. But I think I'm good in the championship, so just aim for a good finish and don't need to just stress too much about it. And yeah, we'll see what happens.
We shall indeed. Thank you very much for joining us once again, Michael. Anyone you'd like to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, Abner Acosta for spotting, helping with the fuel, and my teammate Moises Caraballo. That guy, he literally joined the server with no practice during the qualifying, and to be able to put it in P6 in quali and a 1-2 finish is just really awesome. I'm really proud for him.
Well, that's Michael Diaz, their race winner, and now championship favourite going into Montreal. Now we have a chat to his teammate Caraballo, stood by with Michael Johnson.
So, Moises, wow, what a race. A curiosity here. So we just heard from your teammate that you didn't put in a single lap of practice, that you joined during qualifying, and just you end up P2. That's pretty good, but setup differences. So we know your teammate was running a high downforce setup. Were you running a low downforce, or were you trying to run about the same thing he had?
Hello, guys. Yes, this week is very, very difficult for me because I got some family visiting my house and a lot of work, so I can't practice like I prepared the other races. So I joined the practice with a low downforce setup, and that's all I got. The practice was my quali.
Well,
the quali was my practice.
Yes, I've been in that boat before. I've done that, and sometimes it works out really well, other times not so well. Today it worked out beautifully. Now, normally we ask who you want to say hi to. You've got your family there. Is there somebody we can say hi to on the air here?
Yeah, my wife is looking the racing in your channel.
Hi, Ms. Caraballo. Hope you're enjoying watching your husband race. Wow, he put on a brilliant race today. I hope you had as much fun watching it as we did.
Thank you, guys. You're amazing.
So who do you have to thank? Obviously your wife, but who else do you have to thank for today's second place?
I have to thank Michael Michael helped me a lot with the car. The car was amazing. He prepared the car, and I just have to drive it. And I have to thanks to Abner. Abner was in my spotter, and he was doing the math for the fuel, and he helped us a lot in the race. So I have to say to the Cofres family that I'm sorry, but I don't see Chile from here.
Well, thanks, Moises. That it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Looking forward to seeing you on the podium again next week. But now it looks like Reese is going to have our AM class winner, Brian Lowe.
Indeed, I do. And wow, what an advance up the field it was for you, Brian. Quite the chaotic race out there. From 22nd to 7th in the AM class win, you must be happy with how things went today.
Yeah, no, I still can't believe I won that one. Crazy race.
Definitely a crazy race. And you were under some pressure earlier on from the likes of Matthew Gunderson. What was it like battling around Road Atlanta? It's a very difficult track to pass on, particularly in the first sector.
Yeah, well, I think similar to Caraballo, I also had a bunch of issues this week. I was trying to fix my PC and stuff. So I came into quali doing like 15.9s, and then it was my teammate that helped me fix myself before I did well in the race. So yeah, fighting Gunderson was kind of scary because I didn't know the track that well.
Yeah, well, Road Atlanta certainly has a nice flow to it, so you're definitely able to get yourself down to a good pace at the end of the day. 10th place in the championship coming into this race. You do have a few rounds missed, but certainly you must be happy with that points finish, and it sets you up well for Montreal.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Montreal. It's actually my home track, but I'll have to remember to put in the practice for this one.
Well, before we let you go, Brian, anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, so you guys see his name as Hoyen Long. You can call him Leo. I don't know if you remember it, but Leo, my teammate, I have to thank him. He basically taught this track to me while I was going through quality, so couldn't have gotten this win without his help.
Well, thanks very much for joining us. Brian Lowe taking the AM victory here tonight. Well, Michael, goodness gracious, what a fantastic race that was. I'm absolutely hyped for next week. The Ferraris are going to be racing at Okayama, and the Formula 3s are going to be racing at Montreal. It's going to be a great night of racing to close out the season.
Indeed it is. And again, these guys, the show that gets put on here, you can't find anything even in professional class that's any better than this. The race with the Ferraris, the race with the F3s, and PRL in general puts on such a brilliant show week after week. And I got to say, this is really one of the highlights of my week, that I get to sit here and call these races. Sometimes we get a little tongue-tied because there's so much stuff going on that we can't follow everything completely, but God, it is so much fun. I really do enjoy this.
As do I. It's been fantastic this season of PRL, Ferrari, and Formula 3. One more time, we would like to thank our sponsors at the Precision Racing League, like Advanced SimRacing. They design and build the sturdiest and most durable aluminium profile racing simulation cockpits available in the market today. Visit them at advancedsimracing.com. Also, RaceLab. It helps you to improve your driving skills. Start using it now for free at racelab.app. ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing at thebuttkicker.com. And of course, NinjaTrader. Visit ninjatrader.com and get started with a risk-free trading simulator to start tracking your performance. Thanks to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcasts listed here on your screen. Additional thanks to June Lalonde at the bottom there, who provides our wonderful music. Check out her Bandcamp for more awesome work. Thanks to the team today, Michael, Joe, and Dougie, with Zach Johnson also stepping in. Thank you very much for your help today, Zach. You can find more info about GSRC at globalsimracingchannel.com or through our social media listed on the screen. Also, please check out our merchandise store at gsrc.storeenvy.com. We keep a link in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well so you don't miss a moment here on GSRC. We also have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. Next up is going to be Grand Prix Legends on Saturday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.